My name is Tyron Douglas, and I'll be doing a speech on Steve Jobs' commencement speech. Steve Jobs' commencement speech started off by saying he never graduated. If you know or somewhere heard of him, this will be very shocking. He didn't get speaking on the 3 stories and his importance in his life. To begin the first story, he started off by saying his mother didn't graduate, but yet wanted him to be adopted by people who did graduate. Steve Jobs' adopted parents also didn't attend college, but promised to make him go. His mother was very hesitant in giving him to him, but eventually did. I feel Steve included this to show that his mother's love was more long-term, but also to show that it's possible to be successful no matter where you're from. At the age of 17, he attended college using his parents' savings to go. He later dropped out, not seeing the value of it and was uninterested. He eventually started taking classes that held more value to him and was interested in him the most. He slept on his friend's floor and picked up soda cans to eat and make ends meet. To Steve is pointing out that you should always find something that fits you and that has importance to you. And if something you really want, you should work for it. Just like any other student in college that enters, he pretty much lost the first year. After he drops out of college after 6 months, he then puts his trust in himself to be successful and uses passes to make his future more clear. He begins his second story by mentioning his company, which him and his friends created in his mother's garage. Steve was given a clear and simple view of his trust and his confidence he had after dropping out. This company name was Apple. Eventually, it grows into a $2 billion company. As the company grew over time, he then hired someone to help him run it. Him and his new hire started off strong and compatible, but eventually fell off, which led him to being fired from his own company. After months of embarrassing moments, Steve always had love for what he did. Started over. Steve is showing that even after being humiliated, saddened, embarrassed that he never lost the love in what he did. Even after that, he still wanted to know what he still knew what he wanted, and relied on his trust in himself. After starting over, he created his company and named it Pixar. He also met his wife there as well. This shows that not all bad turns in his life is the end of the world. Every decision, mishap can be blessed in disguise. And if you continue doing what you're doing, you'll never be lost. We begin this third story about death. He goes to say that it's unescapable, holds importance in one's life if used right. Death in the life of Steve Jobs is what made him make his big decisions in life. In a sense, this is very accurate in one's life. Other than people's perceptions of you and others' opinions, you're the only one that can make your decisions, good or bad, if it ever stick with you. Steve down the line was diagnosed with cancer. Was given 6 months to live by the doctors. He then goes back to an autopsy and finds out it's curable by surgery. After surgery, he goes on speak on how life-threatening situations made him feel. He speaks on how death was unappreciated and unimportant. The point that death is always saddening and yet gives a new generation hope on how trusted one's reach on an idea seems so far, but really is in the grasp of their hands.